Hey there. So today, we're going to dive into some of the smallest words in the English language. But don't let their size fool you. Getting these right is one of the biggest keys to sounding truly natural and fluent. Ready to get into it? Let's go. First, just look at these two sentences on the screen. They are almost identical. The only difference is one tiny little letter, A. But the meaning? It's a world of difference. He has few friends. Feels kind of sad, right? It implies he's lonely. But he has a few friends? That's positive. He's got people. That one letter literally flips the entire meaning on its head.
So what's really going on here? And why does getting this stuff right matter so much when you're speaking? Well, that's exactly what we're about to break down. To really get a handle on words like few and a few, we first need to meet the family they belong to. And that family is called determiners. Seriously, you can think of them as a noun's best friend.
So what's their job? Well, a determiner always comes right before a noun, and its whole purpose is to make things clear. It tells you which one or how many of something we're talking about. It gets rid of the confusion.
Now, there are a few different flavors of these. You've got your possessives, like my car or your idea. They show who owns something. Then you have demonstratives, like this chair or those keys. They point to specific things. And of course, interrogatives, like which road or whose jacket. These are the ones we use to ask questions. Pretty straightforward, right?
Okay, listen up, because this next part, this is the absolute key to everything. If you only take one thing away from our time together, please, let it be this. The golden rule for picking the right word almost always comes down to a single question. Is the noun countable or is it uncountable?
First up, let's talk about countable nouns. It's exactly what it sounds like. These are the things you can actually, point at and count as separate items. 1, 2, 3.
For example, books, cars, friends. You can easily put a number in front of them, right? 3 books, 10 cars, 5 friends. If you can do that, you're looking at a countable noun. And then, on the flip side, we have uncountable nouns. These are things you can't just separate and count. Think of them more like a big blob, a substance, a quality, or just an abstract idea. You wouldn't say 1 sand or 2 happinesses.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, because some of these are tricky. Water, information, those make sense. But look at advice and money. This trips people up all the time. You don't have 3 advices, you have 3 pieces of advice. And you don't count monies, you count the dollars and cents. The idea of money itself is uncountable. Getting this distinction is, well, it's everything.
All right, now that we've got our golden rule locked in, countable versus uncountable, it's time to open up the grammar toolkit and see which tool to use for which job.
Let's kick things off with a classic showdown, much versus many. The rule here is super straightforward. You use much with your uncountable stuff, like time or information. And you use many with all the things you can count, like people or questions. So it's how much time do we have, but how much questions do you have?
Okay, let's circle back to those 2 sentences that started this whole thing. A little and a few are kind of like the positive twins. They both mean you have a small amount, but it's enough, it's a good thing. And the rule still applies. You have a little money because money is uncountable, and you have a few friends because friends are countable. And here's where that tiny little letter A shows its power. Take it away, and the whole vibe turns negative. Little and few on their own mean not enough or almost none. Suddenly, he has little money means he's broke, and he has few friends means he's lonely. It's the same exact rule, but the feeling is completely different. All right, next up, some and any. Now, these guys are a bit different. The rule isn't about countable or uncountable. You can use them with both. Instead, it's all about the type of sentence. As a general rule, you'll use some in positive statements and any when you're making a negative statement or asking a question.
But you knew there was a but coming, right? This is English, after all. There's almost always an exception to the rule, and this one is really important.
And here it is. Check out this question. When you're offering something to someone or when you're asking a question and you kind of expect the answer to be yes, you actually use some. It just sounds way more friendly and natural to ask, would you like some tea, instead of, would you like any tea?
Okay, theory time is over. You've got the rules, you've seen the examples. Now let's put it into practice with a super quick quiz. No pressure, just a chance to see what's sticking. All right, first one's up. How blank money do you have? Should that be A, many, or B, much? Take a second. Think back to that golden rule.
And the answer is B, much. Yep, because money as a general concept is uncountable. If you got that one, you're on the right track. Okay, question number 2. There were only blank people at the meeting. Should we use A, a few, or B, a little?
You got it. It's a few. People is definitely countable. You can count each person in a room, so we have to use a few.
Last one. Here we go. I don't have blank time to talk. Is that going to be A, some, or B, any?
And the answer is B, any. Why? Because of those two little words, I don't. That makes it a negative sentence, and for negative sentences, we almost always need any. So there you have it. It's kind of crazy how these tiny words can completely shift the meaning of what you're saying, isn't it? But the good news is, now you have the tools. You know the difference between much and many, a little and a few, some and any. So my challenge to you is this. Which of these pairs are you going to really focus on using today? Because practicing is what makes it stick. Thanks for tuning in.